Hey everybody, this is Dwight with Bikes and Blades, and today's video is just me working on my 9er RLT-9 and talking about some of the things that I've changed and improved on that bike, just minor stuff, fasteners and little tweaks to the fit and finish. But I hope you enjoy this. Really, I'm just trying to stay in the habit of producing content regularly, so I hope this is entertaining. If it's not, feel free to skip, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, so I've got my 9er RLT-9 here, and I've got to do some maintenance. I need to replace the chain, and I know my cadence sensor battery is low, so those are a couple of things I'm going to do. I've already got another chain set up and waxed back here, so I just got to take the old chain off, cut this one down to the right length, and reinstall it. And this is kind of an upgrade too, because the chain that's on the bike is the PC 1110, which it turns out is, I think, the absolute cheapest 1x or 11-speed chain that SRAM makes. So the new chain is the 1170. I've actually got the package back here. PC 1170 chain. It's a little bit of an upgrade. It's not the fanciest chain, but it's better than the 1110. So a little bit lighter, a little nicer. And this chain's been on the bike since I got it, so it's lasted a good long time, but definitely, like when I check it with my chain stretch indicator, it's definitely reaching the end of its useful life. So this guy is ready to come off of here and be replaced. I'm not really sure how many links this is. It's the first time I've ever switched out the chain on this bike. The new chain is nominally 114 links. It looks like, aside from the chain stretch, exactly the same length, which is good. I'm glad I didn't get a shorter chain because it wouldn't be enough. But yeah, so I just got to drop this new chain on the bike and I'll be all set. All right. Okay, and I've been using a Whipperman Connex link, which is this guy right here, and it's pretty vintage. So I could continue to use that, but I think I'm gonna switch to a new link with this new chain just to be safe. So thankfully I have another one here. Here we go. Looks good. All right. Undo the clutch thingy there. Nice. So another thing I want to show you on this bike are things that I've changed since I bought it that kind of make it more my own bike and just tweak it and tune it a little bit the way I like. When I got the bike, all the cage mounts and fender mounts either had black button head screws or they had little rubber plugs, and I didn't really like the way either one of those looked. The rubber plugs are black, the screws are black, and they stood out with kind of a lot of contrast. So I switched those for I think 316 or 18/8 stainless screws from McMaster-Carr, and I'll put a link in the comments below. But it really cleaned up the appearance of the bike and let me have kind of uniform hardware, you know, over the whole bike. All the fender mounts, all the bottle cage mounts. Cages I actually switched to a different type of screw with a flange on it. And I did install these Arundel nylon bottle cages that more or less match the color of the bike. Not quite perfectly, but close enough. I changed the crank out from the standard 172.5 that came on the bike. I switched it to a 165. Other than that, the bike is largely stock. I did switch the saddle out. I switched to a fabric line. I think it's the standard width line saddle. And I've got my Ortlieb saddlebag on there. One thing I did switch out is the stem. The factory 9er stem is 90mm. So I switched it to 100mm, which did two things. It got me a little more room in the cockpit and also made the handling a lot more stable, which kind of surprised me. When I first got this bike, it felt kind of twitchier than I expected, but switching to the 100mm stem really calmed down the handling and made it a lot more comfortable for me. So it was a small change. I ended up with a kind of a low-end salsa stem. I think it cost me 40 bucks, but it was a really, really big change in the way the bike felt and in terms of how it fit me. So that was a big plus. But otherwise, it's pretty much a stock 9er RLT-9 Steel. And I love this bike. I've ridden it a lot. It's got a lot of miles on it now, and I've been very happy with it. it's just a lot of fun to ride, and very versatile. I've taken it on gravel rides. I do a lot of road rides on it, and it's not the lightest thing in the world, but just really feels great to ride. And the 1x drivetrain, for sure the ratios are a little wider than on a traditional compact, 50-34 setup, but I don't really notice it much. And what I do notice is that it's very quiet. The lack of a front derailleur and the narrow, wide chain rings and pulleys in the derailleur make it very, very quiet on the road. It's an almost silent drivetrain when it's properly lubed and maintained. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. I hope to be producing content more regularly going forward, and I would love to hear feedback, so leave some comments, let me know what you want to see, and I'll catch you in the next video.